There's a kind of love that feels warm at first, so warm that you don't notice it's slowly burning you. It doesn't arrive loudly, it doesn't knock, it simply enters quietly. Like sunlight slipping through a window you didn't realize was open. And at first it feels beautiful, safe, gentle. You don't question it. You lean into it, you let it stay. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to build your life around that warmth. You wake up with it, you move through your days because of it, you define yourself by it. Until one day, you realize something you wish you had seen earlier. It was never warmth, it was fire. Have you ever been that person? The one everyone calls, but no one really sees? The one who knows everyone's pain, but no one knows yours? The one who shows up again and again and again, even when no one ever shows up for you? If you have, then this story might feel less like a story and more like a memory. Her name was Sophie. She wasn't extraordinary. She didn't stand out in a crowd. She wasn't loud. She didn't demand attention. But if you looked closely, you would notice something rare about her. She cared deeply, quietly, completely. Sophie lived in a quiet town where mornings didn't rush. They unfolded, slowly. Sunlight would slip through her curtains in thin golden lines, landing softly across her room like it didn't want to disturb her. Outside, life would begin in layers, the distant hum of a scooter, a shop opening, someone sweeping their front yard. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful, because inside that calm, Sophie lived a life that was never really her own. Her mornings didn't begin with her thoughts. They began with other people's needs. The first thing she reached for wasn't water. It was her phone. And almost always, there was something waiting. A message, a request, a small urgency. Hey, can you help me with something? Are you free today? I didn't know who else to ask. And Sophie would read it, pause for a second, and reply the same way she always did. Of course. She never said no, not because she didn't want to, but because somewhere deep inside, she believed she shouldn't. Because saying no meant something dangerous. It meant risking the only thing she had learned to hold on to, the feeling of being needed. And being needed felt a lot like being loved. Her house was quiet, not the comforting kind of quiet, but the kind that echoes. Sometimes she would walk from one room to another, and her footsteps would sound louder than they should. There were moments when she would stop in the middle of the room. Just stand there, as if waiting for something to happen. But nothing ever did, so she would move again. Because stopping meant noticing, and noticing meant feeling. And Sophie had learned slowly that her feelings didn't have much space in her life. Her younger brother Arlo used to fill that space once. When they were younger, things were different. Arlo would follow her everywhere, ask questions that didn't make sense, laugh at things that weren't funny. Back then, he didn't need her. He just wanted her around. And that felt like love. But time changes things. Arlo grew up, moved out, started chasing things that always seemed just out of reach. Dreams, money, success. And like many people who chase too fast, he stumbled, often. And every time he did, he came back to Sophie. Not slowly, not thoughtfully, but urgently. The calls usually came at night. Her phone would buzz in the quiet. Arlo calling. And Sophie would answer, always. His voice would carry frustration, sometimes anger, sometimes exhaustion. I messed up again. And Sophie would sit up, fully awake now. And just like that, her night became his. She would listen, guide, fix. Sometimes it was money, sometimes advice, sometimes just someone to blame. And Sophie gave everything. Not just what she had, but what she didn't. Her time, her peace, her energy. And when things were better, Arlo would leave. The call would end. No questions, no pause. Because in his world, Sophie was fine. She was always fine. And when someone is always fine, no one checks if they actually are. Then there was Luna, her closest friend, or at least, that's what Sophie believed. Luna was everything Sophie wasn't, loud, expressive, alive in a way that filled space effortlessly. She walked into rooms and owned them, spoke without hesitation, felt everything out loud. And Sophie held space for all of it. Their conversations had a pattern. Luna spoke, Sophie listened. Luna vented, Sophie comforted. Luna broke down, Sophie stayed. Hours would pass like this, entire evenings dissolving into someone else's emotions. And Sophie didn't mind, because it made her feel important, needed, chosen. Until one day, something small happened, the kind of moment most people would forget. But Sophie didn't. I've been feeling a little... Her voice had barely formed the sentence when Luna's phone buzzed. Oh, wait, hold on. And just like that, the moment disappeared. Sophie stopped speaking, not because she chose to, but because there was no space left. She smiled softly. It's okay. And Luna continued talking, as if nothing had happened. But something had. Something quiet. For the first time, Sophie felt invisible. Not ignored, but unseen. And that feeling stayed. At work, it was no different. If anything, it was worse. Sophie wasn't just helpful. She was relied on, expected. Extra shifts, she took them. Last-minute work, she finished it. Mistakes others made, she fixed them quietly. Her manager smiled at her. Her colleagues thanked her. But no one asked, "Are you tired?" And slowly, without making a sound, Sophie started disappearing. Not outside, but inside. Her laughter became softer, her thoughts quieter, her needs almost invisible. And the most dangerous part? She didn't notice. Because when everyone around you is taking, you don't realize you're running empty. Until one day, your body stops you. It happened on a rainy evening. The sky was heavy, the kind of gray that presses down on you. Rain tapped against the window, soft, endless. Sophie sat on her bed, wrapped in a blanket. Her body felt weak, her head heavy. For the first time in years, she couldn't show up. No calls, no messages, no responsibilities. She simply stopped. And for the first time, she waited. Surely, someone would notice. Day one passed. Silence. She checked her phone again and again. Nothing. Day two. Still nothing. The silence started to feel louder. Day three. A message from Arlo. "Hey, are you okay? Also, I needed to ask something." She stared at it. Read it again. Not concern. Not care. Just need. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Then slowly, she locked it. And for the first time, she didn't reply. Day 5. Luna called. Hope flickered. Maybe this time, Sophie answered. And Luna started talking. Fast, frustrated, about another problem. Sophie listened, out of habit, but something inside her resisted. "I'm not feeling well today." There was a pause. "Oh, okay, we'll talk later." The call ended. Just like that. No one came. No one knocked. No one stayed. And in that quiet room, with rain whispering against the glass, something inside Sophie shifted. Not anger, not heartbreak. Just clarity, slow, honest, unavoidable. She thought about every time she had shown up, every time she had stayed, every time she had given without being asked twice. And then a question rose inside her. When I had nothing to give, who stayed? The answer was silence. And in that silence, Sophie understood something that changes people. Being needed is not the same as being loved. Need comes with urgency, expectation, dependency. Love comes with presence. It stays, even when you have nothing to offer. When she got better, the world looked the same. But she didn't. She didn't become cold. She didn't become distant. She became aware. And awareness changes everything. The next time Arlo called, "I really need your help," Sophie listened and then said gently, "I believe you can handle this." Silence. Growth. With Luna, "Can we talk about something else today?" A pause. Then listening. At work, "I won't be able to take that today." And people adjusted. Because they had to. And in that space, Sophie found something she had lost. Herself. Her mornings felt lighter, her thoughts clearer, her heart calmer. One evening, she sat by her window again. The rain had returned, but this time it didn't feel heavy. It felt peaceful, because she wasn't waiting anymore. She had already shown up for herself. So let me ask you something. In your life, are you being loved, or are you just being needed? Because sometimes we confuse the two so deeply that we forget what love actually feels like. Real love doesn't appear only when you're useful. It doesn't stay only when you're giving. It stays because it chooses to. So be kind, give, care, but don't lose yourself trying to be everything for everyone, because you are not here to be used. You are here to be valued. And the moment you start living like that, quietly, gently, your whole world begins to change. And maybe, just maybe, the right people will finally see you, not for what you give, but for who you are. If something in this story felt familiar, if you saw a little of yourself in it, then this channel is for you. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone you really care about.